Should we start or we'll wait for 2 minutes? We were discussing about the importance of stress in adolescent life and what could be the possible stresses that is coming from the immediate environment that they are facing. Okay. So in that context, we discussed socioeconomic status, family and relationship. There are other stresses also like natural calamities, flood, flood, drought, earthquakes, and the pandemic that we saw recently, the coronavirus. All these are a stress to the family and to the children also. Okay. Then we'll see what are the causes of emotional problems across environments. Emotional problems, as I was saying, these youngsters are still very emotional and they take their decisions based on their emotions rather than on logical reasoning. That is why most of their decision making goes to directly to the amygdala, the emotion center in the brain, instead of to the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for your higher mental activities. Okay. So fear and worry is very common during adolescence because there is rapid typical changes that occur is very rapid and psychosocial development is happening due to the different environmental and socio-cultural factors along with the psychological changes and physical changes. Teenagers can feel overwhelmed, anxious and sad sometimes. Okay. So some stresses are good stresses, we call them eustress, and some stresses are bad stresses, we call them distress. So when there is eustress, you perform well. That kind of stress is necessary. But bad stress is distress. It hampers your activity, it pulls you back, it doesn't give you the courage to take proper decision. All that happens. Okay. So however, if it interferes with your day-to-day functioning, the stress, you need help. For example, it is natural to feel anxious before exams. or when you are facing new social situations. But if it is triggering adaptive responses in the individual, then you need to see somebody who can help you to overcome the stress. When negative emotions become intensive and long lasting, they can affect your personal, academic, and social functioning also. So you have to keep an eye on what is holding you back. And if it is holding you back for a longer period of time, if it is a matter of 1 or 2 days, then it is okay. You will overcome it. जैसे will have the habit of saying mood खराब है. But if that mood continues for a longer period of time, there is something wrong which is affecting you emotionally for a longer period, which is hampering your day to day activities. In that connection, your academic achievement will also be affected. Okay. So, there is this residential environment which we call the hostel that the students are staying. So hostel could be a source of negative effect like stigmatization and exclusion from participation in group activities, victimization based on stereotyping where authority appears. All that comes from the hostel environment. If it is not taken proper care by the elders or by the teachers, then it will affect the children. School environment can be a trigger, poor or reduced attendance, decline in qualitative and quantitative aspects, difficulty in attention. All that happens in school environment when there is emotional problem among the adolescents. Both in residential and school environments, conflicts with authority, peers resulting in disciplinary action, undermining the ability due to the diagnosis of resulting in lack of opportunity, social isolation or forced withdrawal, teasing and bullying. We'll see how these various types of emotional disorders, particularly anxiety and depression, is going to affect the children. So when you talk about anxiety and depression, it is a very intense feeling. When somebody is anxious, there are some physical symptoms also as a result of that anxiety, and there is persistent worry and fear about everyday situation. Okay, students are yet to join. I think should we wait or we'll continue?
Let us continue, ma'am.
Okay, because we don't have 50% also. So I was wondering if it is okay to continue. Okay, anxiety is something which is very intense and excessive, and there is persistent worry. Anxiety is related to your future worries. ये सब होगा तो कैसा होगा, ये होगा तो मेरे साथ क्या होगा, मैं क्या करूँगा, ये सब थॉट्स आते हैं एंजाइटी में. So it is something which is so intense that the physical symptoms appear like the heart palpitation goes up, rapid breathing will be there, sweating and fatigue will be there when somebody is anxious. And depression is a common mental health problem. We always say I'm feeling very depressed, but depression is something more serious in nature if it is continuing for a longer period of time. Depression is normally confused with bad mood. So bad mood will be corrected within few days. Depression will continue. The person who is going through depression will not like anything anymore which he or she used to enjoy. It involves also feeling of sadness and loss of interest in activities, and it interferes their daily functioning. They will not feel like getting up. They will keep sleeping. They will sleep more, or they will not be able to sleep. They will eat more, or they will not eat at all. Anxiety and depressive disorders are very prevalent among the adolescent group. Okay, and it is more common among the older than among the younger adolescents. In adolescence, anxiety and depression will share some of the same symptoms of rapid and unexpected changes in mood and behavior. And it can be misunderstood or ignored easily and confused with regular teenage behavior changes. ऐसे ही होता है सब बोलते हैं. And then they keep ignoring such a behavior. But it is something serious which needs attention by the elders, by the parents and family, and by the teachers. School counselor needs to be involved for that. Both anxiety and depression can be normal reaction to stress. There are some risk factors also, which can include the genetic vulnerability, loss of a loved person or object, academic functioning, or being exposed to any form of abuse can aggravate that. So, what are the causes of anxiety and depression in adolescence? Since adolescence is a period which is going through a lot of drama and lot of hormonal changes, lot of decision making they have to do in addition to the academic achievement thing. So in that case, somebody's anxiety and depression is supposed to grow. So there will be high pressure and expectation from parents and teachers, which will put them down and they will be depressed. Peer pressure with regard to academic achievement will be there, which may make them anxious. Relationships, social media, and technology is another cause. Rapidly changing socio-cultural expectations are there. Lack of clarity in the rules at home. When there is discrepancy at the home regarding the rules, then they get confused, and that creates anxiety in them. Father will say something and mother will say something, so they will not understand what is okay and what is not okay to behave like. So in such a case, there will be lack of clarity about the rules that is running in the family. So in the same happens in school or social environments also. There is increasingly available distractions due to technological and sociological advancement. And there is this pandemic-induced health-related fears and worries. You must have seen during pandemic how the kids were worried about their parents and they wanted to go home, and the parents were also worried about the child. So you can further classify causes as genetics, personal, environmental, academics, and socio-cultural and emotional. So in genetics, if there is a family history of anxiety or depression in parents or in immediate family members, the siblings or immediate family members will show the signs of anxiety. Personal problem relates to the child's temperament or innate personality style. Everybody is not the same. Some children are different from each other. So children who are innately shy, they are cautious and sensitive to feelings and emotions. They are quite vulnerable to anxiety and depression. You cannot say that such a small incident, how can it be affecting you? And you can give them uh, um, big bhashan and all, but it will not help them because their personality is such that they'll feel that anxiety and depression. They tend to internalize their feelings and emotions and they will not talk about it. So it creates more anxiety. So when feelings are not expressed explicitly, there are many chances for children to have misperceived words or actions of others. They will misrepresent or misunderstand the actions of others and feel bad about it. And they will think it is always about them people are talking. Such misperceptions result in negative thoughts as it is never validated or proved. There is this environmental cause also, some home and some family relationship. Some children come from broken homes. There is domestic violence and abuse, sexual abuse, teasing and bullying at home or school. Parenting styles are different and the expectations from the children is different. Social and cultural expectations are there. Poor peer pressure can trigger anxiety and depression in adolescents. Okay, clear? So, how academic performance, emotional distress affects each other, we'll see. Anxiety and depression will affect poor school attendance or there will be truancy. And in connection to that, poor school attendance will lead to anxiety and depression. Similarly, social isolation also will lead to anxiety. Anxiety will lead to social isolation. Poor academic performance or attention will lead to poor school attendance and social isolation. Similarly, social isolation and poor school attendance will result in poor academic performance. So these are all interrelated. This is the most common reason for adolescents to feel embarrassed in school and at home also if they are compared to siblings. If the sibling is performing better or is a high achiever, there will be comparison always by the family members and it will create more stress in the child. So there are these underlying attention difficulties and limitations that can cause anxiety and depression. They can also be observed in school children and adolescents who are high achievers. It's not like low achievers only will go through anxiety and depression. It can happen to those who are high achievers also. Absence resulting from experiences of anxiety or depression can further affect their academic performance. And there is this social emotional cause. Any questions? Okay. There is this social emotional cause. Lacking proper social skills can also result in social anxiety. In social anxiety, they will not feel okay in a social situation, they will avoid social situations, and that will trigger them. So, when they tend to avoid social interactions due to poor self confidence or they are bullied or teased, it is not going to help them in feeling confident. So, they are also not equipped with identifying emotional cues and they can miss emotional cues means they will not be able to converse properly with other group members in the society. So that will make them feel worried and they will feel very underachievers symptoms they will show. So they will have to have social interactions, opportunities for prolonged periods. Emerging early adolescents do not have the required resources or knowledge. So we have to ensure that the child is having socio emotional support while dealing with all this. And some commonly observed signs to be monitored at residential setting. for referral to pediatricians, psychologists, or counselors for early identification and intervention. There is a table given in your book. You can go through that. When it is physical, there will be increased complaint of physical aches and pains, medical related concerns and fatigue. There will be concern about physical and physiological symptoms of increased heart rate, high palpitation, feeling of suffocation, lack of air and choking, breathing difficulty. There will be nausea, feeling hot and sweaty, signs of panic attack. When it is physical in nature, the symptoms of anxiety and depression we are discussing. So when the symptoms are personal, they will be losing appetite, increased or decreased appetite will be there. They will sleep more or they will sleep less. They will have problems in falling asleep, and there is extracurricular activities, lack of interest will be there. They will not take any action in, or they will not be very enthusiastic to participate in such activities. And there will be poor body image, increased or decreased concerns with weight gain or loss, body shape and dressing will be their concern. When it comes to social signs and symptoms, they will avoid socialization with family and friends. They will withdraw socially and isolate themselves by engaging in solitary activities with or without gadgets. There will be excessive engagement or withdrawal from social media. And when the symptoms are emotional, there will be recurring fears and worries about routine activities ranging from mild and rational to irrational feelings. Feelings of sadness and helplessness and guilt will be there. Lack of motivation will be there. Poor self concept and self image, self esteem, and self confidence will be observed, and they will engage in substance use or other risky behavior. Such extreme sensitive reactions will be observed in such adolescents. In academics also, declining academic performance due to incomplete work or lack of interest in academic functioning will be observed. There will be poor attention and concentration, and focus will not be there. They will be sitting in the class but they will not focus. And poor problem solving behavior will be observed. There will be poor planning and organization. They will have poor memory for personal and social tasks. When it comes to behavioral signs, they will they will show increased irritability, restlessness or agitation. There is increased or frequent crying without antecedents. There is no reason they keep on crying. When you ask, they cannot point out at one reason. Engaging in self-injurious behavior of cutting and scratching and expressing ideas of suicide. Have you ever come across such students who think of killing themselves so that all the problems will be over? Has any student talked about like that? Anyone? Okay. It hasn't happened in your school, that means. So there is types of anxiety disorders. There is generalized anxiety disorder, there is separation anxiety disorder, There are specific phobias also. There is panic disorder. These are the different disorders that we'll be discussing in connection with the adolescent group. So, when it comes to different types of anxiety disorder, it can be experienced in different ways and it can be specific or generalized. The type of anxiety a person experiences is based on a set of characteristics which can be related to a set of symptoms or situations or objects. There is this generalized anxiety disorder or GAD, GAD, we call it. In generalized anxiety disorder, the experience of chronic excessive anxiety about multiple areas of their lives happens. They will be worrying about everything. They will worry about their family, they will worry about their school, social situations, health, natural disasters. Everything will be a problem for them and they will show symptoms of anxiety. And there is this separation anxiety, experiencing excessive fear of being separated from their home and caretakers will be observed more in younger children, those who are sent to boarding or residential schools. It is normally the younger children who will be resisting going to such hostels. So, among adolescents, they may be temporary during their departure following the holidays when they are going on holidays. Like, for example, now they must have gone to their homes for Holi or something. So, while coming back, there will be some problem in adjusting, but they can adjust if they are a little older. For small children, it is very difficult and they experience separation anxiety. There are specific phobias, experience of irrational fear. Phobia is nothing but experiencing irrational fear when there is no reason to fear or to be afraid of something. The child will be fear of a specific object or situation. Any question?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. There is this social phobia also, experiencing anxiety in social settings or performing situations to the extent of actively avoiding or giving different excuses to avoid gatherings at home or engaging in any sort of social interaction. They don't like going to social gatherings and they give small excuses to avoid such situations. They don't go for picnics, they don't go to the mall or marriage or parties. And for that matter, they avoid school also. Okay, that is called social phobia, which these youngsters can show. So, when these symptoms are shown by the child, they have to be taken to the counselor for proper verification and treatment. There is this panic disorder also, in which brief episodes of intense anxiety without an apparent trigger, which is characterized by multiple physical symptoms, will be shown. There will be shortness of breath, increased heart rate, sweating, all that will be shown in this disorder. And one more you must have heard about this is OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Okay, obsessive thoughts and compulsive actions. So in OCD, what happens? They engage in or perform repetitive mental activities or behaviors. They feel compelled to do such things so that they would feel a little less anxious. So to alleviate anxiety caused by disturbing thoughts and impulses, they have the fear of, for example, germs or contamination. There will be repetitive hand washing. They will keep on hand washing till the hand becomes moist and the skin comes out. Such things are also observed among youngsters. Depression in adolescence. Then there is this depression in adolescence, but it is manifested differently than in adults. Adults have different ways of showing the symptoms because they are a little mature and they have seen more life than the adolescents. So adults will have more different symptoms. They may seem more irritable than sad. Depression is normally used for a variety of conditions. There are different types of depression also. Adjustment disorder with depressed mood is one type of depressed condition, also referred to as reactive depression. In this reactive depression, what happens? It is a response to a life event that is regarded as negative in experiencing an insult or rejection or abandonment. When there is a loss of a family member due to death, changes due to separation or divorce of parents, sudden changes in economic status, relocation of home or change of school, all these conditions can lead to adjustment disorder with depressed mood. This is normally brief in nature and it can range from a few hours to few months. Despite the brief nature of distress, it can interfere with the academic achievement of the child. And then there is this persistent depressive disorder, which we call dysthymia. In dysthymia, what happens? This can be described as the low grade chronic depression that lasts for more than a year. Irritability, low energy, low self esteem, and feelings of hopelessness, disturbed eating and sleeping patterns, poor concentration, and decision making. These are all normally observed as symptoms in persistent depressive disorder or dysthymia. Adolescents with dysthymia are more vulnerable for other mood disorders later in life. So it has to be checked when it is shown by taking to the proper expert so that they don't face any further problem in later life, later adult life. Okay. Then there is this disruptive mood and dysregulation disorder. This type of mood disorder is normally diagnosed in younger children and demonstrated as a chronic and severe irritability and anger. There are frequent temper outbursts. This is typically a anxiety or depressive disorder during adolescence or adulthood. Okay? And there is this premenstrual dysphoric disorder. This is associated with symptoms of depression related to hormone changes in females that typically begins with a week before and improves within a few days after onset of menstrual period. Premenstrual syndrome, we call it PMS, that includes depressive symptoms also. There may be minimal or no symptoms at the end of the period. It starts before the menarche and before the onset of menstrual period, and it also goes away on its own after the periods is over. What are the causes of depression? Am I audible? I
Yes,
hope I
ma'am.
am audible. Okay.
Yes, madam.
And there is this premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which we just discussed. This happens only in female students because before their periods they get it. So you have to be very lenient when they complain of stomach ache or any other symptom due to periods, and that will reduce their stress. They will know that people are able to understand them and their symptoms. Okay. And there are causes. What could be the cause of depression? In our everyday life, We face a lot of positive and negative experiences. Sadness normally is experienced. Normally, we all feel sad at some point of time in our lives. Death, loss of job, or failure. These are the causes which temporarily affect us, right? So, in some people, such periods or such feelings don't cause prolonged periods of sadness in some others to an extent of affecting or impairs their functioning. People respond to different depressive thoughts and anxiety provoking situations in different ways. Some people are able to adjust and some people are not able to adjust. So, what are the common causes of depression? Adolescents are vulnerable to higher risk or major depression if there is family history of depression. I'll tell you about a young boy who developed signs of serious mental illness actually. He started hallucinating in the hostel, the stay in the hostel. So he was brought to home because he was acting weirdly. So the teachers were very worried about the child because they had never seen such things like somebody hallucinating in the absence of any physical stimulus. But the family history was such that the boy's mama was a schizophrenic. So the mother took it very lightly and they said, oh, this happened to my brother also. We'll go to the doctor and he'll be fine. So then he was taken to the doctor. His symptoms vanished. Okay. And he had to continue with medication. Sometimes family history of depression at younger age of parents or siblings is also important. Significant stresses related to personal, social, and academic domains at home are important. History of abuse or neglect, history of substance abuse, including smoking and alcohol or drugs, are also important. They cause depression. Medical or neurological illnesses like traumatic brain injury or chronic and terminal illnesses are important to induce depression among adolescents. Developmental learning or behavioral disorders are important. Gender identity or sexuality related issues are causes of depression also in adolescence. And there are other causes of depression also. Symptoms of depression resulting from use of substance like alcohol, nicotine, and drugs. It must not be happening in your schools because the children are closely monitored by you teachers. But sometimes it is seen when you go to other schools which are not in control of the teachers always. Students do mischievous activities. You will find uh, the students being engaged with alcohol, nicotine, and drug use. The side effects of medications or as a side effect of any medical condition, like as in chronic or terminal illnesses, cancer, diabetes, or high blood pressure, arthritis, limit or restrict the quality of life of someone who is very active and mobile. In such cases, the depression is observed to be very prominent. The COVID, for example, the COVID related anxiety and depression in adolescents was seen how difficult it was for them to handle it. COVID can cause chronic and acute stress because they were not allowed to go out and talk to their friends and they had to stay put in the homes only. So, such cases of stress resulting from social isolation, changes in learning styles, and living in cramped environments for prolonged durations is important to pay attention to. Worry for their families' unexpected bereavement and resulting economic uncertainty, sudden school break, and home environment, confining to home, could be a cause for depression. Assessment for anxiety and depression. Teachers can observe any changes in students' action or speech, attitudes towards authority, peers or other staff, as in sudden rudeness can also be there, and the argumentative behavior, aggression in any form, physical or verbal, academic decline, or report to parents and refer to specialist intervention either to the pediatrician, psychologist or psychiatrist is important when you observe anxiety and depression symptoms which is out of control. Teachers can also complete some rating scales as objective data in addition to informal methods. You can find the anxiety and depression in your students. There are many simple tools like test self-assessment tools which a teacher can use to find out whether the student has some symptoms of anxiety and depression. You can find the scales on the internet also. Never level any student with anxiety and depression because that will hamper their self personality and self esteem. So please remember that you are not a qualified professional to diagnose such problems, but for your convenience, you can administer such tests and see how far they are going with their disease and seek professional attention accordingly. The rating scales help you only to seek professional help, nothing beyond that. You cannot handle clinical depression when it is happening to your children. You can help only by referring them to the experts in the school. Self-injury behavior in adolescence. Self-injury means, have you seen any adolescent doing self-injury behavior in your school? Self-harming behavior, which is non-suicidal, but the self-injury behavior is so frightening that you ought to take action. Has it happened? Self-injury behavior like cutting the wrist or cutting the finger repeatedly, taking out blood in from the fingers and doing something. Have you seen that in your school? Some students do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It is
Had broke
boys.
the boy had broken the window pane,
Okay.
and there was a cut in his hand.
What do you do in such cases?
We actually came to know what was the reason,
Okay.
and then we had called his parents,
Mm-hmm.
and counseling was done along with their parents.
Okay. Then he changed his behavior.
Yeah, to some extent, he was sent home for few days.
Okay.
Then
Then he came back, renewed energy and all that, or he
no,
continued.
no. He actually was much better.
Okay. So self-injury or self-harm behavior is actually very common during adolescence. That is why we discuss it in so detail. So much detail is required, detailing is required to understand their behavior because sometimes there is no reason they do harm to themselves. ब्लेड था कहीं किसी के पास, ब्लेड से हाथ काट लिए, क्यों काटा पता नहीं, क्यों काटा बस मन किया ऐसे. They say such things like that. So it is referred to as non-suicidal self-injury. They deliberately cause hurt or damage to the surface of the body without suicidal intention, which is normally socially approved, not approved. This is, however, includes accidental and indirect self-injurious behavior, disorder eating or drug abuse, suicidal behavior, socioculturally accepted behavior like tattooing, tattoo, piercing, religious rituals. These are all self harming adolescents, rarely suicidal, but most often it is sought to seek quick relief from emotional distress. They need help. There is some emotional distress that is going on in their mind which we are not able to understand. So they do this self self harming behavior. So there are different forms of self harming, self injury. So biting, head banging, picking, pulling at skin or hair, bruising or hitting, cutting, scratching, branding, and burning. More serious forms of burning, carving, marking, tattooing, and excessive body piercing are reported in middle of late adolescence as they have better access to materials or financial resources, and there is this opportunity to seek such activities. Least common is pulling out bodily hairs, punching walls, ingesting toxic substances or sharp objects. These are least commonly observed, but most often they are seen to be doing this burning, cigarette butt marks. They put the cigarette, burning cigarette on their skin, and they carve, marking, tattooing, and excessive body piercing is happen to be seen among these adolescents. So, irrespective of the method or form of injury, the wounds on the skin will be permanent, and based on the duration of severity, they may be obvious or fade over time. Even though it may offer relief at the time of action, adolescents are conscious of the scars. The scars, burns, bruises tend to use various modes of dressing or costume to hide them. You will observe the child will then wear full shirt. They will try to hide it because once they do it emotionally, they are very impulsive in nature. So they will do the harm impulsively, and they, after doing it, try to avoid embarrassment because what people might say to them, that scares them. So they try to hide with costume or dress accordingly so that it is not visible anymore to others. They reject or critical comments are rejected. Teasing and bullying about their physical appearance, not only at the school but also by others who are playing in the playground. They engage in relationship which leads to social avoidance and withdrawal because of the self-harming behavior is observed. Signs and symptoms of self-injurious behavior. How many types of self-injurious behavior you have seen in your school?
Around 2, 3 months.
2, 3. What do they do? All of
They
them cut.
use compass for scratching their hands
Uh-huh. And
and the window pane I told you.
yes. Okay. So they can cut or burn marks on their arms, legs, and abdomens, which they can hide when they are not required to show that. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
It is in such a position that they can hide it also. They do it impulsively, wearing full sleeve clothes or fully covering their lower limbs, even at home or inappropriate for weather, which is atypical of their dressing style, can happen. They can find knives, razor blades, box cutters, other sharp objects hidden in the adolescent's bedroom and belongings. These are the several signs and symptoms of several students. They opt for self-injurious behavior through these amenities, like regularly locking herself or himself in the bedroom or bathroom. Following a bad day at school, they can, if there was a bad day at school, they will not come out of their room anymore. They will go to the bathroom and they will not come out for longer periods. Negative encounter with peers, family conflict or lengthy periods of time. All these are triggers which can lead to self-injurious behavior. The family physician, a teacher, or other adult observers, they see the cut and burn marks that the adolescent appears to be regularly removing bodily hairs. So it is observed that they can cause harm to their body parts, not resulting in suicide, but it gives them some relief by giving pain to their body. The adolescent peers cut or burn themselves. They report sibling indicating that he or she found blood. Normally, it is the siblings who report blood, seeing blood with their brothers and sisters. Okay. So, what could be the cause for self injury? Why people injure themselves and what could be the cause?
Excuse me, madam. What I feel, madam,
Mm-hmm.
actually from our perspectives, from our point of view, we may
Mm-hmm.
be right, but what the children's opinion is that they are thinking themselves as correct,
Mm.
and accordingly they are deciding this has to be done. So
Okay.
there is a difference that they are seeing the world in their, through their own eyes, and
Mm-hmm.
accordingly they are taking the decision. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it is very difficult to change that one. As a
Mm-hmm.
teacher, uh, as a housemaster, we are
Mm-hmm.
facing this problem that how to convince the children, and accordingly we can make certain changes and try to show them the good ways. So that is the
Okay.
problem, madam. Whether any activity is right or wrong, it has to
Okay.
be undecided, without any type of.
When it happens also, you being a housemaster or teacher, you must address it privately. Call the child and privately address it so that he doesn't feel very shy about it because he did it impulsively and now that he regrets doing it because there is a mark left on the body, you can make them understand and make it very private. Then in the class, if the person is okay, you can say that this is a big no-no. You should not do this to your body. Your body is so beautiful. You should not harm it with such objects. So depends on the time of your reprimanding. Okay. So the causes of self-injury can be many. So few of them are non-verbal method of communication, then a way of relieving anxiety, frustration, or expressing fear, anger, hurt, or hate to demonstrate their feelings of hopelessness or worthlessness. In adolescents with developmental delay or disability, autism spectrum disorder, or children abused or abandoned as a form of self punishment. Self harm also produces an endorphin effect. When engaged in behaviors of cutting or burning, endorphins are quickly secreted into the bloodstream, giving an experience of numbness or pleasurable sensation. For some, it helps in numbing away unpleasant thoughts and feelings. Like addiction to a particular drug or endorphin, high provides fast acting relief for adolescents. So, as a way to feel alive and confirm their existence in reality when they are feeling emotional disconnection from their parents, feeling emotionally dead inside, or feeling invisible to the parents' eye could be a cause for self injury. As a coping strategy for girls with overly demanding parents, especially in situations where the father is dominant voice, when it comes to discipline and decision making, it is very important to take care of the children's opinion also. So when the father is very imposing in nature, it doesn't help. Suicide is also an intentional self-harm which results in death of the individual. You must have been going through the newspaper or through the social media where you see the news of youngsters killing themselves for silly reasons, isn't it? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
So what happens to them that they resort to such a extreme form of killing themselves? Suicide is an intentional self-harming. It results normally in the death of the individual. They're not self-harming only, they're not threatening by self-harming, they're doing it actually which kills them. Predictors risk factors of suicide include uh, like the age, gender, ethnic groups, family dynamics, and stressful life. All that can predict risk factor for suicide. There could be personal factors, social factors for being responsible for suicide. So, personal factors will include physical health due to chronic medical conditions. In younger adolescents, impulsivity associated with feelings of sadness, confusion is there, anger or problem with attention, hyperactivity could be there. In addition, middle and older adolescents associated with feelings of stress, self doubt, pressure to succeed, financial uncertainty, disappointment, all that is a factor which can culminate in suicide. Easy access to guns, drugs, or other means of self harm is also a reason.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Generally, our students are from rural background,
Mm-hmm.
and especially among girls, it has been seen that some type of Devi ji aa jana, bhav aa jana, all
Mm-hmm.
these. So,
Yes.
why it takes place? Generally, we know that no such thing is happening, but
Yes.
they become so aggressive and that type of behavior that we it is and uncontrollable. Then we have to send them home.
Yes. And they get kind of cured at home and come back to school, right?
Yes, and what type of cure it is? Some jhadfok and all this, and they are
Yes.
and they will come back and they will again after some time such things will happen.
Yes. This is a learned behavior actually in the villages. Why it happens only villages? It doesn't happen in urban areas, right?
Yes, correct.
So in the village actually this have seen such things happening because women are suppressed in villages. So they used to show kinds of behavior which will threaten them and others will not उनके साथ कोई लगेगा नहीं हाँ so from that it started people say there are many theories to explain it but since they were suppressed and they were not allowed to express their opinions so they used to rebel so how they can rebel only by showing this behavior which will threaten others with heightened energy and all that, when they become emotional and impulsive in nature, they can be full of energy also. So this behavior is absorbed by the children also. So when they want to rebel against the school and they want to go home and they are not allowed, might they might they might show this kind of behavior which is supported by the parents and they don't say that you stay at school, they take them home immediately. Right? If it happens. They don't say that you keep them in the school and you cure them. They normally take the child to their home. Right?
All right, ma'am.
So it happens. Many teachers have already said this also when I was taking classes in the workshop. Also, they say that these things so common and they uh, show symptoms as if they are possessed also, like आंखें लाल लाल करके घुमाना देखना. बैठे रहना, कुछ करना, ये सब दिखाते हैं. So it happens among and the biggest surprising thing is it happens only in small rural pockets. It never happens in urban areas. So जिसको भूत आता है तो हर जगह पे आएगा, एक जगह पे तो नहीं आएगा, है ना? Makes sense?
Yes, ma'am.
And we cannot deny, since it is a social practice, we cannot go against them. We can slowly, logically explain them, but we cannot fight with them because it is their parents who, in some way, are trying to take care of the child. So slowly, they have to be able to understand. Okay. So there, sometimes they have access to guns, drugs, or other means of self-harm. There is fear of rejection or humiliation. There is this, as we were discussing, there is fear of rejection or humiliation due to being lesbian, gay, bisexual, or any other sexual minority youth. Now that people are coming out of the closet so easily, so there is this fear of rejection also, and they feel humiliated. Hence, they resort to suicide. Children who have attempted suicide in the past are also at greater risk because they will always be ridiculed or people will be looking at them in a different perspective. Okay, so social factors are including risk increases with age and adolescence. In middle to late adolescence, it happens more. Small children don't do it, but middle and late adolescent group normally does it. Females are born and because of the energy required, females are more likely to attempt and males are more likely to succeed. Females attempt to kill themselves, but they are not always successful. But male members are more likely to succeed. Okay, partially attributed to the success of guns or other weapons to adolescents, males use it as a tool. Social isolation or underpopulated areas, lack of access to social services or other resources, adolescents form families experiencing significant physical, verbal, emotional, or sexual abuse, neglect, severe marital conflict, recent loss of parent or imminent death due to illness or divorce. All these are social factors. History of suicide in family and families demonstrating significant hostility or rejection towards children is also a factor. Copycat attempt associated with a recent suicide in their class, school, family, or immediate community can be also a factor. Okay, so adolescents who engage in addiction or alcohol, or for that matter, substance abuse, they have low levels of self control and are easily frustrated. They're more likely to act on impulse, and it is a tool or means to commit suicide. Okay. So, warning signs of suicide, how to identify that somebody is going to commit suicide. There will be change in personality, there will be change in behavior, there will be change in sleep patterns, change in eating habits, fear of losing control, low self-esteem, no hope for future, there will be recent loss, maybe it could be due to death or divorce or separation, broken relationship. Okay, so the parents suicide will also affect the children. When we are talking about divorce and all, it is the parents who are involved in such activities, but it affects the child so badly. Writing about death or dying, they normally say that I wish I were dead, or I won't be a problem for you much longer. They say such things, so these have to be taken very seriously. Okay, so everyone will be better off without me. Oh, I'm going to kill myself. I just want to go to sleep and never wake up. I can't take it anymore. This pain will be over soon. Nothing matters. These are the words actually have been noted from the person who are planning to commit suicide. So when such words are spoken, you have to pay more attention to the child and make them understand. Take them to the experts. So how to assess suicide? Suicidal thought and behavior is greater predictor of suicide. Even if there is a thought coming to the mind and they're showing any kind of behavior, it has to be taken seriously. There is this suicide screening test, risk screening. Suicide risk assessment also is there, so that you can take up and find out if it is a serious thing. Okay, so mental health is a significant component of well-being in adolescence. We saw that how such youngsters are handling their life in different situations, how compulsory it is for them to stick to the social rule, whether they like it or not. So all of that is putting pressure on them. Okay. So the behavioral patterns established in this stage with regard to their physical activity, diet, eating habit, substance use or sexual activity, they can either protect their health or health of others, those who are around them, or place them at risk either in the present or future. The consequence of failing to address adolescent mental health conditions will extend to adulthood. ये बचपन में आया idea तो it can continue in their mind, but they don't have the courage to do that because they are so small. But during adulthood, it might reappear. So chronic anxiety can lead to serious mental health problems. When there is chronic anxiety, depression, substance use, or even suicide can be predicted. It can interfere with the ability to focus and learn, causing school problems. Anxiety and depression is treatable. These are the emotional disorders which can be treated. So the problem is it has to be identified properly by the teachers and take the child to the expert committee or to the psychiatrist for medication, whatever possible options are there. Okay. Considering the significance of this stage of development, protecting the adolescents from adversities, promoting positive social emotional learning and psychological well-being, and ensuring access to appropriate mental health care at the earliest is very important. Okay. Any doubts or anything that you want? Yeah. So the adolescence period is generally regarded as a period of 11 to 18 years. There are many changes that are happening during this stage, including physical, psychological, social and emotional levels. This period is also includes puberty, which is due to complex interactions between the brain and endocrine glands. This period also marks a shift from equal attention to family, parents, caregivers, peers and friends to increase attention at the last two groups. So because of these changes, adolescents experience mood fluctuations. When the mood fluctuates, they behave very differently. So there will be shown impulsive behavior, assertiveness for autonomy and independence, and there will be reduced interest in regular activities. Sometimes in such cases, there will be anger outburst, irritability, moodiness, and rebellious behavior or risk-taking behavior. You must have seen जैसे बाइक चलाते हैं, this is a risk-taking behavior. This is typical of adolescents who are not worried about the repercussions. So they are usually isolated and age specific. Therefore, they are expected to fade away with time. Such a behavior will normally go away with time. It is important for the adolescent to change such thoughts that comes to their mind by talking to the right person. Okay. So most adolescents will be able to deal with these challenges and acquire new skills in the process of growing. They use language and communication skills to think more rationally. They deal with life more easily and not emotionally but rationally. To deal with others in social situations, they learn to make choices for future independent living. All that decision is taken by the adolescent. However, some adolescents will need proper support to deal with these challenges and they transit smoothly to future adulthood. So this also has been observed in adults who come from adolescent groups where they needed support and they were given support and are responsible adults today. So if proper support is not provided, some adolescents will continue to use ineffective coping strategies. The coping strategies will not follow them for a good reason. Harmful use of substance like deliberate self-harming behavior, violence, promiscuous behavior, all that is seen among the adolescents who are using ineffective coping strategy. Okay. So there are reasons for not seeking help. Do you think all those students that are going through such feelings will come to you with the issues and seek your help? Do you
No,
think?
ma'am. Generally, they don't come.
Yes. So you must remember that all adolescents will not they will not seek help for many reasons. The reasons are not for seeking help is poor insight into the problem, wrong belief, which they think is not a very bigger thing to be discussed with the teacher because I don't have any respiratory difficulty. So this can be something else. And smoking has not affected me if they are smoking. So they always draw conclusions of their behavior without asking the proper grown-up adult. In the school, it is teachers or parents at home. So irrational beliefs are there, fear and anxiety is there, stigma, shame and guilt, all these are associated with their feelings. Lack of quality of mental health support, misplaced confidence in self remedies, these are all seen or observed among them. Okay. So there are some appropriate advice which is normally a common sign of mental health. They need to be observed. When there is excessive worrying or fear, extreme sadness, major changes in personality, eating habits, sleeping patterns are changed, dramatic mood swing, anger, frustration, or irritability is observed, lack of energy is there, confused thinking and trouble concentrating is there, feelings of guilt or worthlessness is there, avoidance of social activities is there. All that calls for help. So you have to, in that context, there are many mental health symptoms which we observe among adolescents and they need help in the connection to these symptoms. There is this psychosis. The mental health problems that we observe, can be broadly divided into neurosis and psychosis. Neurosis is the person is aware what is happening to them, so they can go for help to the appropriate expert. In psychosis, our brain regularly receives information from the sensory modalities. Sometimes the brain itself can stimulate thought processes as per the need. So here what happens, the person is not aware what is happening to him or her. We respond to both in specific ways, indicating that we are adjusting to the situation well. But it is not really happening that way. For example, when there is something to see, we look at it and hear when there is sound. If they are pleasant, we continue focusing on them, otherwise, we turn away from them. So it can happen other sensory with other sensory modalities also. So the advantage is, if the school bell rings, for example, not just one adolescent but everyone in the school can hear it. But our brain is such that it depends on the external environment. The brain is capable of activating itself through thoughts and memories by choice. For example, if you are listening to the bell but not acting accordingly, then it is a problem. Something is happening to you, or you are not interested, or you are losing interest. That can be the reason. Sometimes people report hearing voices or sounds, they hallucinate. The physical stimulus is not there, but they hallucinate something is happening to them, or somebody is there talking to them. There is this feeling of grandiosity also. Somebody is talking to me and I need to answer that. All these feelings are seen in psychosis. So how you can identify such a serious condition like psychosis? You can identify psychosis also when it is observed that there is reporting unusual sensory experiences. They hear voices or sounds that no one else is able to hear. They hear voices to the person. They hear voices discussing with the person. They hear voices giving instructions to the person. There is this strange sensation of something crawling on the skin. There is images that they see, or they see other people which others cannot see. Experiencing smell and taste without physical stimulus also is seen. So there are thought disturbances in psychosis. Have you observed all these symptoms in any of your children? Yes
No,
or
ma'am.
no?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
We have not come, at least in our school we have not come across such a situation.
Because adolescence is the age when such symptoms appear. Actually, this is the stage where beginning of such symptoms is there. So sometimes you have to be extra vigilant when people are reporting about somebody that he or she is showing this kind of sign, like talking to himself or herself, or doing things which is not normal. So there are thought disturbances also, difficulty in organizing thoughts, difficulty to talk meaningfully. There will be derailment of thought. They will be talking about something, suddenly they jump from one topic to the other. Incoherent speech. They will not be able to think at all. Sudden and firm belief that the person has some unusual power than others do not have. And suddenly they will think that people are against him. There will be a firm belief that someone is able to read his mind, and they think that somebody is controlling their mind, and they're talking to the person who is controlling their mind. That is also there. Okay. So most of these disorders emerge during adolescence. Those suffering from psychosis need to have a proper medical care, and they need hospitalization also. You should never think that घर पे रख के इसका इलाज हो सकता है. They need his hospitalization because it is a serious mental illness. Poor knowledge, stigma of mental illness, cultural beliefs, all that can interfere with helping the person. But you should not pay attention to what people are saying because the taboo that is associated with mental disorder has to go. And it can be done by the teachers or by discussing with the parents of the child, you can help them. The delayed intervention will increase the severity of illness and the chance of recurrence. There is this ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder also, that is observed in young adolescents. It is characterized by inattention. It is also known as hyperkinetic syndrome, hyperactivity and impulsivity, attention deficit hyperactive disorder. So usually ADHD starts before the age of 12 and the symptom severity decreases in majority of children by adolescence. By adolescence, you will see that the differences in symptoms will be there. The reason for decreasing ADHD symptoms by adolescence is the maturation of brain functions that regulate attention. Okay. It is very important to note that ADHD has a biological cause which mediates the brain functioning in different domains. Therefore, ADHD is not due to a person's mischief or misconduct. Normally, the child fails to give close attention to details, makes careless mistakes in homework or schoolwork. He has trouble in holding attention on task or play activities. They seem to listen when spoken to directly. They do not follow through the instructions. It has trouble organizing tasks and activities. They avoid dislikes or they are reluctant to do tasks. They lose things necessary for tasks and activities. They are easily distracted and forgetful in daily activities. These are the result of inattention. Similarly, hyperactivity, often the child fidgets with the taps, hands or feet, then leaves the seat in situations when remaining seated is expected. It is a rule in the school that the child has to sit in the chair and table is for writing. But the child will not listen to such rules and will do the opposite of it. They feel very, very restless. They are unable to play or take part in leisure activities quietly. They are always on the go as if they are attached with a motor. They have so much energy. इधर भाग लिया उधर धक्का दे दिया कुछ, and they talk excessive. And impulsivity, often the child gives the answer before the question is completed. The child has trouble in waiting for the turn. ADHD is suspected when the above behavioral issues are noted for most of the time in at least two settings of the following: home, school, or work. Then only you can say that ADHD is happening to the child. Otherwise, children's core characteristic is they will be a little naughty. So you cannot call each and every child that is naughty and hyperactive ADHD. So for that, you have to look for other symptoms also. The ADHD symptoms will appear in interacting with others or non-academic activities. Okay?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes?
I have seen in my school and even my previous school also that the
Okay.
students of Navodaya, they have this habit of either tearing something or scratching something or continually scratching pen on their copy or over their desk or tearing out the leaves from the tree,
Mm-hmm.
continually scratching the wall. These
Mm-hmm.
type of things they have, this type of behavior, each and every child.
Okay. What is the age?
Right from that is the sixth standard, that is from 10 to 12 to age of 18. If they are standing somewhere and speaking to someone, if any plant is there beside them, they will start picking the leaves. If they are
Okay.
standing beside a wall, they will start scratching the wall. They cannot sit मैंने चुपचाप नहीं बैठ सकते, चुपचाप खड़े नहीं रह सकते, कुछ ना
Hmm.
कुछ उनको ये डिस्ट्रक्टिव चीज करना है.
Okay. But you have to check for other symptoms also. ये जो हाइपर एक्टिव डिसऑर्डर है ना,
जी
उसके
मैम.
साथ अटेंशन भी कम होना चाहिए उनका. कभी पत्ता छीन रहे, फिर कभी भाग के चले गए, गेट को खोल दिया, फिर भागे अपना बैग को खोल के टिफिन खाने लगे, फिर भाग के आए टीचर के टेबल पर बैठ गए. ऐसा कुछ करते हैं तभी जाके हम थोड़ा सा समझेंगे कि इसको शायद ये डिजीज हो सकता है. That is also not confirmed unless they go through the screening test,
ऑल
right?
राइट. ऑल राइट.
Yes, because एक बार उनको ठप्पा लग गया कि इसका ये problem है, then it becomes a social taboo. So when we are branding a child as ADHD or learning disorder, we have to be very careful in doing so. Unless we are confirmed, we cannot do that. So we have to do the proper screening test. Okay. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The school counselor, if the school counselor has been trained how to identify the diseases in children, then the school counselor can be trusted with the child and the child can be sent to the school counselor. Okay. ADHD can be suspected through the behavioral issues, normally how they behave in school. Then the counselor will talk about the home environment or work environment where they are going for work or something, how they behave. The symptoms will appear in interacting with others in non-academic activities also. It is not only in the school. Normally the symptoms arise before 12 years of age. In some cases, ADHD continues into adulthood also. However, we know that they will not show any symptoms. All the symptoms are never seen. Sometimes a symptom from here and symptom from there they will show, and it will confuse the person who is trying to understand them. Majority of them will show both inattention and hyperactivity accordingly. There is this ADD, attention deficit disorder also. So how to separate that from ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder? So you have to go through the checklist and there is a screening test which the counselor will know and administer. Once they are confirmed, you send them for good psychiatrist or psychologist who will treat them.
Ma'am, what is ADD? Attention.
Attention deficit disorder.
All right.
Okay. Then there is this conduct disorder. Conduct disorder involves a repetitive and persistent pattern of behavior like aggression and deliberate rule breaking. They break the rule all the time. They have a problem in following the rule. So the behavioral pattern is more than ordinary childish mischief. It is not mischief anymore. The adolescent becomes rebellious in nature. In the extreme form, the conduct problem can lead to major violation of age-appropriate social expectations. Conduct disorder is frequently associated with adverse psychosocial environment. They always think that it is against the psychosocial environment, including the unsatisfactory family relationship and failure at school. They are poor communicators. It is more commonly noted in boys, but we also find the conduct disorder among girls. As we have noted in the introduction, some adolescents may exhibit isolated unsocial behavior, or they will be rebellious in their behavior. They will not comply with instructions. They will do opposite of what is told, and they don't necessarily mean a conduct disorder. Such behaviors fade away on their own. You don't have to sometimes do anything. They learn the social system and they behave properly. Conduct disorder is suspected when there is excessive level of fighting or bullying, cruelty to animals, severe destructiveness to property, fire setting, stealing, repeated lying. All these are seen among conduct disorder students. There will be unusually frequent and severe temper tantrums, defiant provocative behavior, persistent severe disobedience. Some adolescents involve in such behaviors alone or with their friends. It can happen only at home but not outside. In some cases, it can happen both in both settings, home and outside. Each type will call for a slightly different strategy to manage the problem. Then there is this oppositional defiant behavior, which is defined by the presence of defiant, disobedient, provocative. The conduct problem can happen in the child. They don't include conduct issues when they have to discuss. In other words, they don't cause harm to others or violate the law. They are characteristically seen in children below the age of 9 or 10, oppositional defiant behavior. There is this eating disorder also. These days, there is this style of the trend that is going on, zero size. So everybody is following.
Yes, it is called bulimia something.
Yes, one is anorexia nervosa, the other one is bulimia nervosa. So in anorexia, they don't eat. So they don't eat and they become very thin. And in bulimia, they do this puking and eat again. So they want to eat, but they don't want to put on weight. So they purge it out. So that is also there. Eating disorder makes them anorexic or bulimic in nature, and they lose all the nutrients that is required for them to feel healthy. That is all about the eating disorder. Then there is this substance abuse. I don't think substance abuse is a problem in your schools, or is it?
It is what, ma'am?
Substance abuse like drugs and out of curiosity they are smoking, or because of the availability of such drugs they are consuming any substance or legally under the age, they can attract legal punishment.
No, ma'am, no such issue.
Okay. Then there is this sexual behavior. Expressing sexual behavior typically begins during adolescence because of hormonal changes. They want to experiment actually. So it may coincide with pubertal changes. The sexual behavior can be anything. And the romantic feelings towards each other is seen, which can be a risk-taking behavior. It may include the involvement of sexual acts willfully or under coercion. They misbehave with the opposite sex, excess harmful masturbation practices, all that is seen in your school.
We haven't come across such situation, ma'am.
Okay, since this is the age, this ought to happen. So how to stop that is important, and you have to teach them a healthy safety and well-being of the individual and compromise with their own impulse and neglect their own impulse at the rate of, at the sake for the sake of other sex. So sometimes violence and anger is directed to oneself. This happens when the adolescents are frustrated with a situation and are unable to see an alternate solution to the problem and experience intense emotions. The act of violence will lead to deliberate self-harm. Okay? And there are behaviors which are sex-related and sex-related maladaptive behavior. Can I take a 2 minutes break, please?
Sure, ma'am.
Just 2 minutes. Sorry about that. There is this sex orientation and sex related maladaptive behavior. As we have discussed earlier, sexual expression and gender identity become very obvious by adolescents. Majority of the adolescents, they will be comfortable with their bodies, physical appearance, pubertal changes, and both assigned sex and gender. Similarly, majority start experiencing attraction towards the opposite gender. However, some adolescents will feel uncomfortable about their birth assigned sex and the gender attributed to them. They may not be able to accept pubertal changes, and they also developed attraction for some people who are from the same sex or both sexes. Some adolescents will be, accordingly, we have termed them as LGBTQI. Homosexuality or gender non-conformity is there. It is important to note that both these are different. For example, you may want to conform to the gender roles. A girl may refuse to completely take care of the household, choose and maintain long hair. That doesn't make her a boy. She's just hating going to the kitchen and do the girl like things. and it's okay. It is not the role society assigns them to do. Okay. And there is this learning disorder. Some children have learning disorder who are poor in academics because of sensory impairment, especially visual or hearing, intellectual problems, hand motor, sensory motor coordination, hand motor functioning issues, poor health, chronic medical issues, developmental disorders. All these are because of low motivation, poor facility, and prolonged school absence. Do you have learning disorder children in your school? Have you come across?
We have slow learners, ma'am, but learning disorder.
Okay. Slow learners, how you spend time with them? They have to be repeated the same thing and chunk by chunk they have to be given.
Yes, they have to be given lot of time,
Hmm.
repeated questions and answers,
Right, right. So some
making,
of
putting or giving them very simple syllabus so that they can pass through the examination.
yes. So in some cases, a family history of similar problems, difficulty at the time of birth, or delayed language as compared to the peers or friends, subtle motor difficulties, and clumsy, they're clumsy in trying shoelaces, buttoning, walking in a straight line, confusion with directions, and understanding prepositions and adverbs. They will have problem from where you can make out that they are having learning disorder. There will be reluctance for spelling and writing. There will be poor attention. If you carefully observe them or ask for a medical history, they will not have any sensory impairment or IQ problem. They normally would have had the learning problem since childhood. They are commonly known as dyslexia. Dyslexia is a term you must have heard about. So they are
Yes, yes.
dyslexics. Learning disorder is dyslexia. And specific learning difficulty in writing is dysgraphia. And in mathematics is dyscalculia. And slow learning disorder manifests in the form of attention difficulties, motor coordination, the difficulty identifying letters, poor letter sound association, letter reversion, limited vocabulary. Vocabulary will be very limited, difficulty giving rhymes for simple words, auditory discrimination, all that included preferences for reading over writing, listening comprehension better than reading comprehension, making spelling mistakes and in analyzing or categorizing sounds. All these are during early childhood manifested in the child. During late childhood or adolescence, the learning problems may manifest in the form of errors in oral reading skills, like they omit something, they substitute something, distort the sentence, or addition of words or parts of words, slow reading rate, there will be false start, long hesitations or loss of place. There may be also deficits in reading comprehension, which are evident in the inability to recall facts, inability to draw conclusions, or um, inferences from material read, use of general knowledge as background information. All this happens, and they will not answer to a particular story. In India, slow learning disorder is known as disability. Children with slow learning disorder, they are provided with various supports and concessions. The supports vary with educational boards and state policy. Okay. Though the guidelines for slow learning disorder assessment came in 2018, there are some guidelines. You can refer to your book. There is not enough time, I'm afraid. So for these things, you can go through the book. The screening by school teachers, the teacher approaches the screening committee, all that you can see in the book. Okay. And role of teachers and housemasters or mistresses in promotion of mental health. What could be your role? What teachers can do to promote mental health among adolescents? What you can do? You can develop a healthy relationship from the beginning, not when a crisis arises. Then they will not listen to you. Suddenly they would be suspicious why the teacher was always angry with me. Now he is very friendly to me. So take them into confidence from the very beginning. Good bonding with the child because the child is spending more hours in the school. Children consider their teachers, housemasters, and housemistresses among trusted adults and look up to them for support and guidance. In the context above, the teachers can promote mental health also because they are trusted by the students so much. The teacher can serve as immediate role model for habit formation. Somebody is raised the hand. Any questions? Any questions or any doubts? Then you can provide a safe and healthy outlet for ventilation. You can develop a healthy relationship from the very beginning and not when a crisis arises. This is how the teacher can help. Then comes your managing adolescent challenges. Counseling and guidance services you can provide. There are different techniques of counseling. There is this guidance and school curriculum, guidance and other curricular activities, career information guidance, guidance and the virtual world counseling services, individual counseling, group counseling, peer counseling, multicultural counseling, crisis counseling. All this counseling you can use for your advantage when you are dealing with your children, or you can send them to the psychologist in your school to handle them when it is out of control. They can manage adolescent challenges. Okay, that's all for today. Can we continue a little bit?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You can start a discussion group among students, periodically organize discussion on the themes like health and nutrition, risk-taking behavior, mental health and well-being, and more themes you can choose as per the need of your students, which will help you to know them better. You are just teaching them the book knowledge, but you don't know what they stand for, what is their opinion, what is their belief system. So if you handle such small discussions about small topics in small groups, you will know actually what they like, what they don't like, what is their opinion like, how they stand for the points. All that will be visible to you. Do you do that?
Yes, ma'am, we do,
Okay.
but not every time.
Okay. When time allows.
Yes.
Okay. That will bring you teachers and students together also. They will trust you more. They will be more friendly towards the teachers. They will not be scared of the teachers. All
Yes,
that
ma'am.
will
They are
happen.
quite. They are very friendly, and not. That doesn't mean that they are our friend, but they are not afraid of us.
Yes, that is very important. And you should be the first one when they have crisis situation.
Yes.
They
Yes.
should feel free to run to you instead of running to the wrong person for
Yes.
guidance. And you can counsel them accordingly.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Then there is this career information guidance. This is the area where teachers can provide guidance to the students. All the schools are established with a focus on nurturing talented students from rural areas and disadvantaged groups. All these JNV schools, right? Isn't it? So who they will turn to? They will turn to the teachers only to guide them. Many of the students may not have the supportive social background where they can get guidance about various vocational and career opportunities. Identifying the talents and interests of your students, reinforcing them, nurturing them is all so important in higher. Time is up. There is this guidance activity, cyberbullying you have to handle, then commencement of counseling, how the initial stage has to be there. There is this transition stage, working stage, all that you have to take into account while counseling them. There is peer counseling also. The students will be more open to the peers, so they helping them to be counseled by the peer who is going to do good can be chosen. Supporting academic activities can be done. Defining the goals is there. Then selecting the peer counselors, self-confidence, empathy, acceptance of others, all that can be learned by the students. Okay. You can do multicultural counseling, crisis counseling. When there is a need, you can handle child abuse, severe illness, suicidal prevention. All these responsibilities are there in the teacher. So, techniques of counseling are given in the book. Since there is no time at all, you can go through that, and if there is any problem, you can get back to me. I will counsel. I will teach the counseling portion again. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
There is not enough time to complete all this, and it is going to be 7. So we'll stop here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Good night, all.
Thank you, madam.
Good night, ma'am. Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you all. Bye bye.
Thank you.